Hey there, this is Becky DeGrossa, the founder of Counseling Wise and the owner of the Private Practice Builders Facebook group. Each week in the group, we ask therapists to tell us what questions they want answered, and the question with the most votes wins. The winning question this week was, how do I stand out when there are so many other therapists in the area? That's the question that I'm going to answer as we go through this video. So, standing out requires two things. First, it requires actually being seen, being findable, being found, right? And then the next step is making a strong impression once you are found. If you do either one of these without the other, you're not really going to stand out, okay? So, different ways to be seen include organic methods, where you appear because you've done the legwork to get there, okay? So this could be going to doctor's offices, networking, doing talks in your community. It could be building up an email list and emailing information to people. It could be building a huge list of friends on Facebook and messaging each of them, or it could be having a website that ranks in Google. All of these require work, and they get you in front of people, and you don't have to pay for them. It's more, you don't have to pay a lot of money to do them. It's typically more of a legwork type thing. The next method is paid advertising. And this is where you actually pay to get in front of people each time you do it. So this could include non-traditional or, ultimately traditional in other arenas type methods such as radio, TV, billboards, local papers, and magazines. Those aren't typically used in the therapy world. It could include directories, which are used in the therapy world. It could use Facebook ads, Google ads, or ads on other social media properties. Now, there's pros and cons with each one of these. I'm not going to spend tons of time on it, but just know that if you're in the networking or going to doctor's offices or doing talks in your community, those are things that you're going to have to keep at. Even if you develop some good referral sources, you typically need to nurture them, and you need to monitor them and make sure they're still sending you people, and if not, you need to go find new ones. Building an email list, you got to invite people to opt in for something really interesting on your list, and you have to nurture them. Huge friends lists in Facebook typically doesn't work out for therapists. There's a stigma involved there, and so the actual technique that we prefer is ranking a website in Google, because once you get it there, you're done. When we get into paid advertising, the first option there isn't hardly used. Directories, they get really crowded, and so it's hard to actually control where you show up and how many clients you're going to get. Facebook ads and Google ads, there's different pros and cons with each of them. With Facebook, you can't target people nearly as well as you can on Google. On Google, you're actually only showing up if people are typing in search terms saying they want help. So if you are treating people with anxiety and someone types in anxiety treatment or anxiety counselor or anxiety therapist in Google, you're going to get your ad showing up and you're going to be seen. And that's much harder on Facebook. So the favorite approach I have, again, on organic outreach is a website ranked in Google. And here's an example of one. Somebody typed in PTSD therapy Boulder. This person shows up in the Google Maps in the top, and then also down here in organic. And the reason I really like this is you can control your destiny. It is a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of work, but it's doable and it's predictable. And so once you get there and you do it the right way, you're there and you don't fall off. And so that's really cool. Last week we talked about rankings, how you can get this up the right way, and then you pop to the top and you pretty much stay there. This is after 4 years. This person's still there. And this person, after 2.5 years, still holding strong in the number one position. So it's a very proven method. My favorite paid approach, again, is Google Ads, and the reason is I can do a search here and I can show up at the top of Google, and my ad will only show if somebody is searching something that I do. Okay, so it's the most targeted that you can get in terms of really pinpointing the exact client that you're looking for. And it's not only the perfect client who's anxious, but it is, like in this case, the perfect client who is anxious and looking for help now. So that is amazing. Position yourself at the top, and you can control how much you spend each month. set your budget, pause your own campaign when you're full or leaving town or don't want more clients. So it's a great way. So that is the get seen part. All right. So now let's talk about making an impression. One thing to get seen, but if it's kind of a lackluster experience for the potential client, it doesn't matter. So you can make an impression with really compelling website copy. It should be specifically about their issue. It should really touch on the pain and the problem of their particular concern, and it should be thorough and high quality. That's the only way you're going to stand out in terms of making an impression. Just a little Wikipedia paragraph isn't going to cut it these days. You can also stand out with a very personable, impactful video. You want to make sure that it's short because no one's going to sign up to watch a long video. And you also need to be really confident in that video and come across well. I've seen some people not do this well, and the video almost hurts them more than it helps them. So you really want to be confident. And the technical aspects of a video, such as lighting, layout, audio quality, it needs to be good enough. It doesn't have to be, studio quality necessarily. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be good enough so that it comes across as professional. Now finally, whether you're doing video on a website embedded with good copy or just copy without a video, whatever you have there, you need to have good enough design. And what I mean by this is if you have a very homegrown site, it will reflect poorly on you. If it looks like, a 4-year-old made the site, no one's going to think that you're that professional. But at the same time, you don't have to spend $10,000 on a custom design either, okay? And some people misconstrue credibility with high prices for custom design. You really don't need that. You need a professional enough appearance, and as long as your copy and your messaging is good, then you're good. That's all you need. Here's an example of website copy that people use very commonly in our field. Couples treatment, they'll have a little baby paragraph. It doesn't end up making a big hit, okay? It doesn't really impact the person emotionally. Something like this, which is very relational and it calls out a lot of the pain and problem that the person is feeling, this is something that will make much bigger impact on the potential client. We typically start out with something like this, where we're talking about the pain and the problem and all the things that someone looking for couples counseling may be feeling, and then we go into normalizing the situation so the potential client doesn't feel ashamed, giving them hope so that they know they don't have to be stuck there forever, showing them that the therapist has done this work before and that the therapist is very confident, calling out fears and objections, answering them, and then giving the potential client a very easy way to contact you. If you have the right potential client who gets to your site, your video, whatever it is, they will take you really seriously if you give them the meat. You cannot just gloss over things in a general way. You need to dive deep into what they're feeling. If you do this, they will resonate with you, they will spend more time on your site, and they will call ready to schedule with you rather than just interview you. So this is the feedback we get time and time again from people who do their copy the right way. And standing out is important. So get yourself seen first. Make sure you're doing whatever you need to do to get yourself seen, findable, found. Then give the potential client a high quality experience when they do find you. And the one thing that I want to leave you with is that hardly anyone does this. Okay? It's so rare that people pay attention to this. So when you do, you're going to do very well. All right? Okay, I hope that this was helpful. Take care, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.